Привет! Сейчас я нахожусь в Турции, в месте очень популярном для путешественников из разных стран. И нахождение в этой стране дает мне прекрасную возможность знакомиться с новыми интересными людьми. И как раз про одно из таких знакомств пойдет речь в этом видео. Как-то раз едем мы по пустой дороге, нас окружают поля, одинокие оливковые деревья. И я вижу, как навстречу едет два велосипедиста, полностью увешанные сумками. Естественно, мы сразу остановились, познакомились и на следующий день записали этот выпуск. Елена и Симон – влюбленная пара, которая решила отправиться в поездку длиной в год. Любители острых впечатлений, дикой природы и знакомства с новыми людьми. У них уже есть большой опыт езды на велосипеде, порядка 5 лет. В основном ездили они раньше в пригороде Леона, это их родина. Устраивали поездки выходного дня и катались по ближайшим регионам. Прежде чем вписаться в такую авантюру, Елена и Симон ездили на минивэне и много путешествовали автостопом. Мы встретились на 8-й месяц пребывания ребят вне дома, и за это время они преодолели огромный путь в Турцию через всю Европу, везя с собой музыкальные инструменты – тромбон и саксофон. Еще они вегетарианцы и говорят на 3 языках – родной французский, испанский и английский. Это тот язык, на котором будет сегодняшнее интервью. Я специально решил не делать в этот раз дубляж, чтобы вы могли послушать этот красивый французский акцент. Но для вашего удобства я, естественно, сделал субтитры русские, для того, чтобы вы лучше понимали, что говорят ребята. Желаю вам приятного просмотра.
I think because we host, we want to really deconnect with friends and to have really time to say, okay, we are far from friends. I need to miss my country to be happy to come back in, because I think at the end of our study we were both boring about studying, and I need to leave something for myself to know what I want to do after when I came back in France, and also because COVID happened, and so it was not a really nice moment. It was not horrible, but it was just about politics, about how was managed. We were not really happy about it, so we're okay, we just escape for 1 year and to really have the time to leave other things, to miss the country and to come back and to be happy and with another perspective about this. And I think if you just go, now we are almost at 7 months of travel, and I start to miss France. Before that, I was happy to travel, happy to discover a place, and now I'm happy to be on the way back and to know that now I'm going closer and closer to France, closer to my friend.
But also since the beginning we say 1 year, but we have always said maybe it will be less, maybe it will be more. So if in 1 month we are so boring of traveling because it's winter, because it's too hard or whatever, that's not a problem, a big deal if we come back after 8 months and not 12. So yeah, it's 1 year, it's an idea, but it's not, we don't have a deadline or whatever, so maybe it will be a little bit less, a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think we are lucky because we both don't have a job waiting for us in France. Because me, I just finished my study 2 years ago, and I didn't start working on my study subject exactly. I just before the trip I make a little job to just earn money, 1 month in the mountain to just work with ski in a station for skiing, 1 month in a vineyard just to harvest grapes and just to make some money and to keep it for the travel. And when I will back, I will find a real job
or not.
Or not, but I will start working. So yeah, we are lucky about this and lucky.
Yeah, about money, we managed to like Helen says, we have some works before. On my own, I finished my study 2 years ago, and I worked for 1.5 years. And with also, it was quite good job. And with all the pandemic and the lockouts, that's true. We didn't spend a lot of money, and so it was a good opportunity to put the money on the side for this trip. Before that, also when we were students, we success to make some job on the holidays, and we didn't spend everything. And I think by this way we have enough money for 1 year traveling. Our family help us a little, like when we start, they give us a little bit of money. For our birthdays, they give us some money, so that's help a little. And also we travel in a quite cheap way. Like, I mean, when you travel on bike, before you start, you have to buy, all the equipment, so the bikes, the luggage, tent, sleeping bags, etc. That could be quite expensive. With Helen, we try to do it mostly in second hand. But still good stuff. But yeah, we don't have a lot of things news. And after, when you are on the trip, like on our own, we mostly use wild camping, so we don't pay a lot for accommodation. Like sometimes, like we say, in cities, or when we need a little bit more of comfort, so it's quite cheap. And you buy food. And sometimes equipment, like you have to make some works on your bike, so you spend some money for it, but not that much. So it's quite cheap. Yeah, some touristic place will buy the ticket, but it's not that much too. So I think, yeah, with what we earn, the money we earned before, and how we are traveling for 1 year, it's okay. Like we will manage it.
So my bike, it's old one. Like my brother used it for a trip in South America, almost 1 year, and maybe now 10 years ago. And so after that, he used it a little, not that much. And I asked him, can you borrow it me? I will use it a little. And I already use it for a small trip in France and in daily life bike in Lyon. And for this trip, actually, it started to be done, so I changed almost everything. Like I keep the main part, but yeah, almost all the other part I change it, and I do it by myself with some people who help me. So it was quite nice to discover bike mechanic, and yeah, I changed also the inside piece here or on the wheel. So those things quite tricky, but I learned to do it, and it was nice. Helen, maybe don't talk about. We have Schwabel Marathon Plus Tour for the tires, which are also quite famous in bike tour, and they are very good, very strong. You can go for 1,000 of kilometers with each, so it's good. For the carrier, I have here it's an old one, but still good. And on the front one, I had an old one too, but it broken in Zagreb in Croatia, so I have to find a new one. And so I booked the same as Helen told, Farad Tubus, with it the same, very famous and very strong, so it's very good. I have the same saddles, Brooks one, so I'm also happy with it. For the handlebar, we booked this butterfly handlebar because you can change a lot your position. Like you can be here if you are in the city and you need the brakes or to change the speeds. You can go more here if you want to be more comfortable, here a little bit more relaxed. And if you are when we are in a very flat and long road, we use also to put our hands like here, and you can change a little your position, and it's also very comfortable. So we are happy with this too. I also have a ring, a mirror, which is helpful. That's it about the bike. And yeah, also this, I don't know the English name, but this piece here, it's very, very useful, and we are very happy to have one because you often get out of your bike for just 2 minutes to take water or to pee or whatever, and if there is not a wall or a tree or nothing, just it's comfortable to let it like this. So we are happy with this. That's it. I also have a locker. It's actually not a very good one, like from Decathlon, but it's quite long, so we can take the 2 bikes only with this one, and that's quite useful too. But we don't use it a lot. Like finally, we are not of the time with our bike, or it's sometime in city, or when we sleep in place, we are not. Yeah, maybe there are people around or whatever, we lock them, but not that much. That's it. And after about the bags, so I have also this small one. It was also my brother one, so it's quite old but still good. And yeah, I have all the important stuff like passport, money, camera, and also the thing we use quite often like sunglasses. Also now it's called, I have my gloves or things that I use sometimes, and some sweets sometimes because it's important. That's it. I also have I don't know the English name once more, but these small tools to give you the speed, the kilometers you have made, and etc., the temperature. So it's not indispensable, but it's interesting, and you know how many kilometers you rode. And then after about the bags, like Elena, I have 2 hot sleeve and 2 vode because they are the famous one. Actually, this one it's my friend gifted me for my birthday just before we left, so they are new. And this one I also booked it new because I didn't find in second hand. I'm happy with both of it. And to explain what I have in each, here it's food. Only food, like what we have, fresh or dry or everything. On the right side it's more like pharmacy, like for us if we have injury or whatever. For the bike too, bike pharmacy, like if we need to repair something, we have a small bag with everything we need and we can do. And also like my rain clothes, like surf pants and shoes and things, stuff like this. And also a small backpack when we go in city or in small hiking, because this it's not comfortable to take, so it's 20 liters, so not very big, but enough to put water, jacket, food, and to go. And also a 10-liter water pocket. We use it when we are in wild camping, like before to stop we fill it with water for a quick shower, for cooking, and also for drinking. So it's also very, because I also have 3 bottles of water, but when we stop for one evening and all the night and the morning after, it's not enough, so we have this big bag, and we not use it always, but sometimes it's a good investment. And on the back side here I have all my clothes actually, and also this tarp, just a tarp. We use it when it's raining or to cover the bike when it's raining or very wet. It's not indispensable, but actually it's good. Also sometimes just when we sleep, not in the tent, but we just put it on the ground and we sleep on it, so it's also interesting. And on the other side I have those tent, sleeping bag and mattress, so all what we need for sleeping. And here I also have my trumpet, so like Elena with saxophone we play together. And I also have a jogging clubs, like up when I have some time. I like it. It's very light, so it's not indispensable, but very light, so I use it. And a helmet, like Helen told, I'm not a very good student with it, but when it's very big downhills or in a lot of traffic, I put it on. And here also is very small bag just for like if we are flat or whatever, everything, or we have some glue, some scotch, like we don't have to go on the main bag. And and I also customize my bag because I think it's funny. This is a gift from a friend before we left, so in France, and after just different gifts. One Helen has too, and we have the same. Here I have some the same, I don't know the English name, but when we arrived on the Black Sea, we found it on the beach, and it was one of our main objectives, Black Sea, so we put it here like a souvenir. Some of the sticker I have it before we start the trip. This one, for example, is the bike shop who helped us in Geneva, and he gave us stickers. Here it's just a piece of food Helen found and we like it. He gave it to me and I put it here. On this side I have also another souvenir from the sea. Small animals, I don't know them, but you can shoot it after. I think here too it's a sticker from the bike shop who helped me to make all the to prepare my bike before we start the trip in France. The wheel we have, we didn't really choose because on my bike it was already this side. It's 28 inch, and my tires are quite thin, but I'm happy with it, and I still can go in gravel road, so it's okay. Helen have almost the same, then the same size, and that's comfortable because we, for example, if we need a new tube, we can use almost the same, so it's good. We inflate it to maybe 4.5 bar most of the time. And we try to inflate like every month to at least to put hair again. That's it for the wheels. We have a brake. We have mechanic brakes like without disc because I always have it and I like it and I can change it by myself. I know it's if I have a problem, it's quite easy to repair. So we keep it. Helen the same. She has the same. On my own, I have 3/8 speeds. Helen have 9, so one more. But even with 8, it's good. Even if it's very steep, we climb a very steep road. I can go slowly, and it's enough to, even with all the weight we have, we can manage with almost all the climb until 15% and 20 if it's very, very short, but not that much. About the weight, I think like our bikes are around 15 kilograms each, and me, I think I have maybe 20 more kg with all the stuff. A little bit more if I don't know if I have the water, if I have a lot of food, because we go 1 week in the mountain in quite deep area without a lot of shop. So it depends, but maybe 20. So total 35 kilograms, 40, depends. Helen a little bit less. I spend a lot of time to prepare my bike in France, but I also like it. It was time I learn new skills. After I need a few time to find the good position between the settles, handlebar, and also that take quite a lot of time. But now I'm really happy. I feel comfortable. Not a lot of it's really rare I have some pain in my body because of biking. A few technical problems, but not very huge, and we can almost always manage it ourselves and repair it. So it's even if it's old and second hand, and he have a good story, and I really like it, and it's good.
On a trouvé un chouette coin pour dormir au-dessus de Breccia ce soir. Mais ça grimpe un peu. Alors faut pousser, madame. Poussez.
So we choose Europe after we imagine to go to Athens because I then have some family in Athens. After we say, okay, so we'll go in the Balkans country because we don't know it and we want to discover it. And slowly we say, we can go to the Black Sea. But if we're on the Black Sea, let's go to Istanbul. If we're in Istanbul, let's go a little bit in Turkey. And after we stop, we say, okay, we should not go more east because after that we cannot come back in France in 1 year. And so, but the beginning of the road was very, we just have an idea, but even 3 days before we start from France, we still didn't know if we were taking this road or more on the south. And I think all our trip is a little bit like this. Okay, let's go here. Finally, someone told us it's nice here, so we go another way. But we choose this road in Europe and to make it in 1 year and just... we really wouldn't like to take a plane to other country and come back on plane. So that's the main idea. And also we were interested in all these countries, like in Balkans country, we didn't know anything about it. Greece, I don't know anything about it. Turkey, it was our first time, so we were so curious to discover it.
And I think because we feel like we don't need to go to the part of the world to have a good experience, like even just in
France. In the first day were already wonderful.
Yeah, and after in Italy, it's really close. We live at 2 hours by car of Italy, and at least we had so beautiful time, and we discovered so nice place. So I think bikes travel makes you realize that even just going 2 days on bike near your house is an experience and an adventure, and you don't need to always go far to have a good experience. I'm not saying that you don't need to do it, but bike make you realize that everywhere you have some things to live. Everywhere you can discover someone's a beautiful place or just a beautiful day or another place.
Сейчас я нахожусь на полуострове, где круглый год светит солнце и очень комфортная погода для туризма. Сюда постоянно приезжают путешественники из разных стран. Я уверен, вам нравится смотреть интервью с иностранцами, рассказывающие о своих поездках. И теперь таких видео на канале станет больше, но все они будут на английском языке. Я постоянно занимаюсь видеосъемками и монтажом. Это основная моя работа. И сейчас я открыт к новым проектам, в том числе международным. Если у вас есть идеи для сотрудничества или, может быть, какие-то полезные контакты, то, пожалуйста, напишите мне в Telegram. И еще на тему видео на английском языке. Пожалуйста, напишите в комментариях, какая версия вам больше нравится, дублированный перевод или субтитры.
Yeah, we always have plenty of nice story, nice meeting. And one very nice we have was in Italy, in Dolomites mountains. Like we were looking for a place to sleep with our tent and after to let the bike just to go hiking on the mountains. But when we arrived in a small village, we were a little bit disappointed because it was only hotel, 5-star hotels and very expensive, not in our budget and in our way of traveling. And even the camping, it was like 50 euros per person per night. So we say, okay, we cannot really stay here. And we start to ask people if maybe, do you think we can pick the tent in your garden just for one night and tomorrow we go hiking and we come back. And it was quite hard. And after 2 hours, we were a little bit disappointed and we say, okay, what we should do. And we finally find a guy, like he was in his garden and we asked him the same question. And directly, even he was not able to speak English or French, and we were not able to speak Italian or if he was also speaking German. But we had like maybe 1 hour discussion together only with hands and few words. And slowly he understood what we were looking for and he directly say yes and welcome us and show us his garden, invite us for the food. And we start to speak, like we show us the photo we have from the beginning of the trip. And after his son arrived and he was speaking English, so we have better discussions. And slowly his son was also involved in cycling, biking, traveling. And so we have very good feeling. And finally, we stay 1 week with them. Like they invite us in a room and we share all the dinners. We help them on the garden, like for some harvesting or some job on the garden. They come with us for a walk in the mountains. So yeah, we only spend 1 week together, like with friends or father. It was really, very spontaneous and a lot of, very warm welcoming. And we have maybe 5 or 10 history like this one, but this one was the first really strong and still maybe one of the stronger ones. So yeah, just to tell, if you need something and you are traveling, maybe ask to the people and you will always have good, I think good surprises. And in general, I can keep going on something else, like everything always and in a good way. Like sometimes you will be in bad mood because I don't know, the weather is bad or you have a couple of problems with your bike, you don't find a place to sleep if you want to pick the tent, or you damage something. But we always find a solution. We used to ask a lot of help maybe of the people we met, and it's always finished in a good way. 1 week together, like with friends.
It's not a story, but I want to say to everybody, like, you can make a bike tour and you can just go traveling by bike, because like we decided with Simon to go traveling by bike, and at the beginning I was like, oh, that's so funny because we will go biking and just meet people and just sleep on the tent. But when we start, I was like, but I really cannot do this. Like, I'm not a really sportive girl. Like, I love bike, but most of the time just to go from my house to go to my school and just like, I don't know, 10 minutes of bike. And after to go from my house to my friend's place, but just in the city, like at the beginning, it was like, oh my God, but I can't do this. And at least what is really good with bike traveling is that you always can manage the way of traveling that really feel you comfortable. Like, you don't need to go on mountain, you don't need to make 100 kilometers for one day. You don't have any obligation. If you just do 20 kilometers per day, you sleep in a good place, in an hotel, and you need some comfort, it's okay. And if you make 100 every day and you just sleep every day on the beach, just outside, it's okay. Like, don't put you a pressure, because at least you don't need to prove nothing to everyone. You just need to feel comfortable and to enjoy your trip. And really, I think that it's the most important for me about this trip. It's because I'm not so self-confident about myself, and at the beginning I was like, okay, 1 year, it's too much, I cannot do this. And slowly by slowly, day by day, you just understand that it's possible, because you can just make the travel you want, and you don't need to be like this person, she's doing like this, wow, she's making 100. Okay, that's really nice. If he enjoys it, it's nice. But if I don't enjoy to do this, I have other way to do it. And yes, day by day you say, okay, now I'm traveling since 2 months. I'm in Bosnia. After 3 months, I'm in Romania. Now I'm in Turkey, and I'm like, okay, so it's possible to travel by bike and to enjoy it as the way you like, and you have so much possibility to make it how you feel comfortable, and don't think about the thing like you need to be a really sportive people to do this. Really not. Like, you can be a really lazy person, but with a lot of motivation, and it can work.
Hop, première crevaison du voyage. 1800 bornes et quelques, et c'est pour la roue arrière d'Hélène. Hop, on espère qu'on va réussir à réparer tout ça, fissa avant l'orage qui approche.
First of all, because we both finished our study like 2 years ago, and we were like, I think it's a good time to go on another experience before to start working, and it's a good time for us. And because we traveled a lot together before, we started to travel in hiking after we've been on a van trip on Europe, and at the end we tried to travel by bike, and we say, how is the best way for us to travel? And both we were agree about like, okay, bike travel is the best for us because it's not with a car. We don't really like to go with van because you need to go to tank some gasoline. You have a lot of problems on the car. You need to spend a lot of time in the car just driving, and you don't really even enjoy where you are because you are just on the road. And after at the opposite, it was like going on travel hiking, and for me it was too hard to go hiking and too slow because you can't do 100 kilometers for a day hiking. So yeah, biking, it was our best way of traveling because you really feel what you are doing because you are biking to just go and to continue.
It's easy to meet people because even if you just stop in a small village to buy food or to take water or somewhere, people are very interesting about, oh, but where do you come from? What are you doing? And like our way, like what we like in traveling, it's not only to go in a nice place and touristic place, but also meeting people from the country where we are traveling. And I think with the bike, like you really have a lot of opportunities because people are so curious to see this bike with all the luggage and what are these people, where do they come from, where they are going, and why, and etc. So I think also that is why we choose bike to interest.
And yeah, about also hitchhiking. So we had experience before hitchhiking, like in Ireland or in Portugal, and it was really nice experience. But at the end of the travel, we were frustrated because we cannot do in every place we want, because we need the car to go here, to go in the place, but we don't have the car, so we need someone to drive us, and we cannot say, "Oh, I'm in your car, just drive me here, please." No, it's not working like that. So one part we are like in the bike, you can go wherever.
You are independent, yeah.
Like not if it's a climb like that and you will die on the climb, of course, but at least you can say, "Oh, I really want to discover this beach or this place," and you always find a way and you can make it by yourself. So it's give a lot of satisfaction.
Petit instant préparation vélo avec Paul. La dynamo d'Hélène marchait plus, alors on a dû retirer le boîtier de pédalier et en fait le câble était sectionné à l'intérieur, donc voilà, petit instant électricité et comme ça on pourra rouler de nuit sans problème, c'est cool. When we don't find a place to sleep, that's happened sometime, we used to ask, so if we can pick the tent in garden, or if it's raining so much, if we can sleep in a shelter or whatever. And yeah, always we try to ask before the night, we try to ask to people who just we meet on their garden, like not to knock on the door or to disturb them too much. And yeah, just we try to learn a few words of the language of the country where we are, maybe just 2 or 3 the first one, because people like, even if it's only hello, how are you, or I'm from France, my name is, but we see they like it, and after just ask, we always ask, we don't want to disturb you, just maybe if we can pick the tent in the small garden, we see you have some place, if you think it's possible, and stay very polite, and if it's no, it's no, and still smiling, and thank you, no problem, we will find a solution. But most of the time we try once, maybe sometimes 2 house, and after we have a good answer. Sometimes it's just indeed a place to pick the tent, and sometimes we finish with dinner, we are invited for dinner, we are invited to sleep in a room, and sometimes like this experience we stay 1 week with the people or 4 days, or most of the time we really like to wild camping, so we look for a place where we can pick the tents. In countryside it's quite easy, in summer it was very easy because the weather is good. Now in winter it's a little bit more difficult when it's too cold or too raining. In city it's not possible, so in city or we contact from shore people, so people who used to host other people who are traveling on bike. Sometimes we just rent hostel or a few times Airbnb because it's not easy. And also sometimes we just meet people who told us, "Oh, I know someone in the next city, you can call him, maybe he can host you." And yeah, we have a lot of story of like now in Dacia we are staying in a hotel, but because someone we meet in Izmir invite us to stay here because he knows the owner of the hotel. So just on the way, when you ask people, when you meet people, you have good surprise and good opportunities to stay and to meet people.
Yeah, and I have an outfit. So about my bike, I have fan manufacturer bike. It's a really famous brand, German brand for bike for traveling, because they are really strong bike and they don't break really easily. And so I find it in second hand, but it was quite new, like it was a really good deal, exactly. I just met a guy. She bought the bike in Belgium, and he just came from Belgium to France with the bike, and he was too lazy to take the bike on the train back, so he was selling it at the half price. So the bike, I had it for 500 euro, so it's quite not a lot for this bike. And after, so this carrier was on the bike, but I bought this one, the front one. It's a Tara from Tubus. It's a famous brand for carrier, and it's really strong. And after, the two bags, so I have Vaud on the front and Ortlieb on the back, because it's the two best brand for the bags, and I just found them on second hand, and it was just because this one was Ortlieb and this one was Vaud. But after 7 months of travel, I think I will more recommend Ortlieb than Vaud, because it's easier to close and open it, and also because this one start to open their self here, and so I prefer Ortlieb, but still Vaud, it's really, really good brand, but I prefer Vaud. And after, so we bought some Brooks settles. It's a really good investment. It's quite expensive at the beginning and quite hard at the beginning of the travel too, because you need time to fit really comfortable on it. But now it's really cool because you don't need, you will see my style, you don't need to put a bike clothes, because it's fit with your body, so it's okay. It's not so painful. If you do 7 hours of bike during one day, of course at the end of the day it's a little bit painful, but I think with all the settles you can find at one point, it's painful. And so at the front, it's one from Decathlon, so it's not a really good one, and I also found it in second hand. It's not the best one, but at least it's useful, so it's okay. And this is something, it's for hobby. It's a saxophone, because we are playing music sometimes, and so it's the most heavy things I have on my bike, but it's a saxophone and not really useful for the daily life, but it's really nice when you are in a beautiful beach just to play some music. And just to explain what I have in my bags, so in this one it's the kitchen, so I have the plate. Here it's more like hobby bags, so we have some games, books, and that's almost it. And here I have my clothes, and here I have my sleeping bag. And in the front one, it's more like the personal things. We don't want, if someone stole my clothes, I'm okay, but here there is my passport, my money, my credit card, the camera. So we have one GoPro and one camera. I have the GoPro, Simon I have the camera. And so here it's more the things we don't want to lose it, because we need it to come back in France for the passport. And here, so it's the benzene bottle, because we have a stone with benzene. And after, I have 2 bottles of water to drink. 2, because when we are riding for 2 hours, it's boring to just stop every 20 minutes. For example, in winter, in summer, we were drinking a lot of water, and if you just have one, you need to fill it every 20 minutes, and it's boring just to need to find a place to stop, to put the bike on the side, and it's time. And when you have more water, you can just ride for more time. And I have also my Hamlet. We don't put it every time. When we are in the countryside and in really small road, we prefer just to enjoy riding without. And when we are in city or in big road, we put it. I put it more often than Simon, but we try to put it when it's really dangerous. Yeah, my bike looks like with a lot of little stuff because at the beginning the bike was really black and I don't really like black, so I was like, oh, I want to put some things on, and so I start with little stickers, and slowly on the travel people give us things. So this, for example, came from Croatia. It's a guy we met in Zagreb and he was artist, so he just give it to us and I love it at least. This one is from Bucharest, a warm shower that hosts us in Bucharest. It's the name of his music band and it's funny to have it. It's a bakery in Croatia, and this is funny. So it's a flower. It was the day of my birthday and we were in a warm shower house, and the woman just gave it to me like a gift to say bye bye and thank you to came to our place, but at least it was my birthday, so it's not really beautiful, but it's handmade and it's a good souvenir, so I just put it on my bike. This is Simon make me a little bike before to go, and yeah, he has different stuff and I like it because it's all little memory of the travel, and it's funny to have little things. And yeah, I didn't speak about this mirror. I just bought it like 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago. Before I didn't have one, just Simon had one. And sometimes when we were in big routes, I was like, oh, I don't feel really comfortable because I don't saw the car or maybe the truck. And so we just pass to a bike shop, and it's funny because it's really a small one, but at least it's really useful and I can see so much with it, so it's nice. And I have it. And that's it about my bike. I've been a lot of time just camping and to not have a lot of opportunity to just have shower every day or whatever. So I was used to that, but I think what's happened for me in this trip is that at the beginning, when it was just after a day of biking, I was like, I cannot just go sleeping like that because I smell so bad. My skin, it's like peggy because I sweat a lot. I need to wash myself. And at the beginning, what it was, I remember we were in Switzerland, like really high, and it was really cold. Water was really, really cold. I was like, but it's too cold, it's too much for me and I cannot do it. And for the first time I just been in the river, and the river, it was almost freezing, and I just started to have had a good shower on the nature, and I was like, oh, but I can do it. Okay, it's really fresh, but after I put all my clothes to just warm me up, and it's okay. So I think slowly by slowly the body it start to be a little bit used to this, and now we are in winter and it's really like the cold is coming really early, so it's the same when you just finish the day of biking and you are like, okay, I need to wash myself. I just make like in French I called it a cat shower, like because cats are just that themselves in the good place, and that's what I do. I just watch here, and it's okay. Like 2 minutes after, I just put all my stuff and I'm like, okay, I need to warm up, and it works. So, and also you get used, like about hair, you get used to don't wash so much your hair, and your hair get used to this. So I can manage 1 week without washing my hair, and at least it's a little bit like that, but it's not so horrible because I always know one day I can wash it and it will be okay. And I think the most I did, it was 1 week, and 1 week without washing the hair. For me, it's okay. So it's more, I think, at least you get used to it and you say it's not a problem, because Simon it's the same. Like we most of the time sleep together and we had the same day about biking, so I know that he feels the same about this, and I am lucky because Simon is sweating a lot. So when he finish a day of biking, it's like, I really need to wash myself. And me, I don't sweat a lot. So I feel I'm lucky. So I can't say, oh, I feel dirty, because at least I'm really less dirty than he is. So I'm always like, okay, I will wash myself and it's okay. And when I have a shower, I just enjoy it and it's really wonderful. And you appreciate more a warm shower. When you have a warm shower, you are like, oh, that's so crazy to have a shower. I love it. Really, I want to spend 10 minutes on the shower. I cannot go and continue my life. I want hot shower. So yeah, when you have a warm shower, it's crazy.
So a funny story we have, it was in Bosnia Herzegovina, I don't know English. Like we choose a way, like we just have a look on the map and there was a main road. We would like to escape it because it was too big, and so we saw a small one on the map who climbed a little but looked nice, and so we said, okay, let's tweak it. So we took it, and for maybe 5 kilometers we go up and up, and it was okay. A small village on the top, a nice view, it was very good. And after we start to climb down, to go down, and after 200 meters, a lot of stone on the road. After that, a little bit after, the road start to be destroyed with a lot of hooves of the tree who destroy it. Still 1 kilometer after, half of the road was fallen on the mountain, like it was destroyed. And after we say, oh, it's not possible that any car is driving here. How it will happen, and so we keep going down and down. At a moment the road started to be only a small path because it was all covered with mud. We say, okay, what will be the next? And at some point the road was destroyed because of a river, so we just arrived in front of it. We say, oh we can not go, and so we had to take off all of the luggage to carry the bike to climb down, to climb up. And like the first one was funny. We say, we hope it will not be too often, but 200 meters after, the road again was destroyed and impossible to go with the bike. So again, we have to carry the bike, to take off all the luggage and etc. We were still smiling. We say, maybe there will be a third one. We saw the third one. We say, oh shit! And the smile we had at the beginning started to be a little bit very small smile. But still, again, we carry the bike because it was just we didn't like to go back and to climb all the road we done. So we say, okay, let's keep going on. And after that, we started. It was hot. We started to be hungry, and it was already it was only 8 kilometers down. So 10 minutes or maybe 15 minutes if it's a normal road. And this one we spent maybe 2 hours or 3 hours. It was so long, and we always say we don't know how it will be finished, but we keep going on. And after finally we find the way, and we can join the main road. And it was funny, we still have a very good remember of this time. It's just, very funny. And even if on the moment it's quite hard, after it's remember for, I think, all the life, and just you make fun about it. And we have, a couple of examples like this one. You can, just keep smiling, keep positive when you have bad moments, because it happens. I think in 1 year traveling, it will happen. But it's just few minutes, not a little bit disagreeable, but after that it's okay, and you find a solution.
Me, I bought my bike 6 months before to go on the trip, but I was using the bike just to go on my city and just making my everyday bike. So it was not like every day, what did we do for the travel, etc. It was more like 1 year just start
thinking a little bit.
Think about the travel, how we want to have the luggage, what did we need to buy, and
buy the stuff.
It was more like speaking about it like every 2 weeks or something, really not every day. And when we really start to focus on the travel, I think it's 3 months before.
Yeah, more or less maybe. But also with the pandemic, like when we first planned the trip, we said, okay, we'll go maybe, I don't remember, in September 2021. And after we have some issues, so we report the start of the trip in January. And finally I was working and I have still 3 more months working. So we say, okay, finally it's winter. It's not very nice to go in winter from France. So let's go in April or May. So finally, maybe a little bit more than 1 year thinking about it. But yeah, like you say, maybe 3 months quite intense to find the last stuff, the last luggage or whatever, and to try the bike, to make some adaptation, to pack everything, to say, oh, we forgot about that, we have to buy it.
But also, I think
and the way
we were used to travel with really low luggage, like we've been hiking,
it wasn't the first
hiking, so you have just one bag to put all your stuff. So I think we were used about like, I will not take all my clothes, I will not take all my shoes. So that for us was easy to just say, okay, I need to buy one pair of shoes, one sandal, 2 t-shirts. So that was easy for us to know, like, I don't need a lot of things to can go. And at least we have in our friends and our family a lot of people like they love biking, they already been in bike tour or they will go. So we have a lot of people
give us some tips and stuff.
Good advice, like you can just buy this, it's really cool. And so I think we didn't spend a lot of time just to look what did we buy.
But we also watch some video from other people who have been on trip, or I read one book about people who have been traveling on bike, and so you get good tips too. It's often people told what they bring and say, oh, I didn't think about this stuff, it's interesting, let's talk with Elena. Oh yeah, we should buy it too. So yeah, we also have some tips from other travelers before we start.
Ролик произведен при поддержке магазина «Велоспорт». Если вас интересуют Чинели, а также другие мировые бренды, заходите в магазин «Велоспорт» в Москве и Самаре. Там вы найдете шикарные гравийные велосипеды, болиды для шоссейных гонок, трековые рамы, а также современную технологичную экипировку и оборудование от мировых брендов. По промокоду Лосенко при покупке гравийного велосипеда Чинели получаете шлем в подарок, а также дополнительную скидку на экипировку Чинели. Проходите по ссылке в описании и следите за новинками на сайте velosport.ru.
One of the fear we have with Hélène was to maybe not be on the same rhythm about biking. Like I'm used to be maybe a little bit more sportive, and I can go and also more crazy. Like I can go if it's raining or it's very cold or very hot. For me, it's okay. I can go for maybe a little bit more distance each day, and Hélène maybe a little bit less. But we knew it before to start. But still, when you already start the trip, you have to manage with that and to talk a lot together to say, okay, is it okay for you if we go a little bit more? Or if it's Hélène asks to me, is it okay for you if we stop now because I'm tired? And at the beginning, it was like maybe the first month, it was really not easy to find the balance between our both rhythm. And not only about bike, but also about, I don't know, meeting a lot of people or not, about sleeping outside always, even if it's raining, if it's cold. And it's not our first trip together, but still it was the first long one. And yeah, the beginning was not easy, but we start to talk more and more and just also to understand, okay, now maybe it's too much for her or it's enough, and just to accept it. And finally, after a few weeks, we say, okay, now it's okay if we go a little bit slowly, or if we go a little bit more if we need to reach a point. And it was not easy at the beginning, and we didn't imagine it before. Like we say, okay, we know we will not be exactly on the same rhythm, but I think it was more disappointing that we expected before to left. And I think still now sometimes we don't have exactly the same acceptation, but we success mostly by talking a lot together. Okay, what do you want to do? Are you okay if we stay one more day here because it's nice? I want to take some rest, or I want to go hiking. Okay. Also, we split some time. Recently, I've been hiking and Helen stay in the village for small walks or whatever. And I think now we success to be more like we know the rhythm of each other, and it's easier. But at the beginning, well, it was more difficult than we imagined. I think Turkey is very easy because people are very welcoming, and like a lot of time they saw us, they ask us if we need anything, if we want food, if we want a tea, if we want to sleep in their house, and we are really like even before in the Balkans country, in Romania, it was really surprising. But really about, I don't know if you have any problems in Turkey, I think you will find a solution easily, because people already, after 2 minutes in a village, they will come to you, oh, do you need something? I can invite you for tea, for food. So sometimes, oh, no, it's okay, we have everything, and we go because it's too much. But on this point, about help and welcoming, it's really nice. After, I think, all the countries where we have been in Europe, it was good for biking. Maybe at the beginning more for the landscape in the mountain, just amazing. Quite more difficult physically, but it was really nice. And then now it's the sea. We enjoy the sea too. Like I think all the countries are really nice. When we start the trip, we both didn't know what we want to do later, and we thought, oh, maybe this trip will help us. And so now, like you say, we are traveling since 7 months. We already had opportunities to talk a lot about our future together. Or when you are on bike, you think a lot. You have time to think, oh, what I would like to do. We meet some people who give us some ideas, but not that much too. So on my own, I'm still a little bit lost of what I want to do when I come back. I have some idea, but it's quite short time idea. I know I'm very interested about agriculture and farming, but I don't know exactly which way I would like to work with that or not, like to be a farmer or not. And I also have some other small project I want to do maybe before, like some job for 6 months or 1 year. So it's still a little bit, not very clear. And I have maybe 3-4 ideas, but I don't know if I will do all of them or start with one, make another. Now, after 7 months, I know better what I will do when I come back than when I start. I was totally lost.
But one example, like both, we don't have a house or a place in France. Now we had, when we were studying, like we had an apartment in the city.
For rent.
Now we don't have nothing, and when we start the trip, we were like, where we will live when we come back. And now one thinks, we know both that we don't really want to go at the
too
far in France, like I don't know, in the real north of France, really far from our family or our friend, because now what is important for us is to build a life we like in a place in nature. We both now don't really want
like city.
Come back in city, and something near our parents, our family, and our friend. And we are lucky because most of these people are living near Lyon. So we know that now we both want to live near Lyon and not far from it, just to say, oh yes, I'm living near the ocean. Now I think it's not the most important. So it's helped us to have priority.
Yeah, I think so.
So now I think that's helped us.
Yeah.
I know that in one time in my life I was like, oh, I think I want to live abroad to have an experience, and I don't know I love Spanish, so just to live in Spain for 1 or 2 years, it's wonderful, and I don't know what. And now I'm like, okay, but that's not really what I need. Like, I know that I can go traveling and just come back and have a place near the people I like. So that helps us to feel how it's important to have people that you like close to you, because it makes more sense of our life and in our way of living, I think.
Вот такая история про Елену и Симон, пару влюбленных. К сожалению, я не могу никаких ссылок на их социальную страницу оставить, потому что они сказали, что у них нету ни странички в Инстаграме, ни на Фейсбуке. В ближайшее время будет еще одно видео про путешественника из Питера. Он на новогодних праздниках проехал вдоль Средиземного моря, остановился у меня, рассказал об этом всем. Поэтому оставайтесь на канале. Также подписывайтесь не только на YouTube-канал, а также на Telegram, Контакт и Дзен. Если где-то заблокируют, чтобы вы не оставались без контента и всегда имели возможность смотреть меня. Я знаю, интервью вам понравилось. Пожалуйста, поставьте лайк и напишите комментарий к этому видео. Спасибо за интерес к велокультуре. Скоро обязательно увидимся.